Okay. Awesome. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Ginger.
Hello.
Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Happy New Year too, because this is the first time we've been here in 2025.
Exactly. It's been a few minutes since we've been here.
Yes, and I'm Rosalind Osteen Fort. I am the president of Friends of Lawrence County Animals, and that's FOLCA for short. You'll probably see us around town. We're always trying to improve the lives of animals here in Lawrence County. And I'm here with Ginger Morgan, who is the shelter director for the Doggie House Lawrenceburg Animal Shelter. And we have a very, very special guest with us today. Would you like to introduce our friend?
Yes, this is Dee Dee. Dee Dee, would you like to say a word? Well, okay then. Just in my lap that you're just going to whisper. Okay. All right.
And if you're listening on the radio, Dee Dee is one of our dogs from the shelter. She is joining us today. She has her paws up in Ginger's lap looking for lots of rubs and attention. So, how old is Dee Dee?
Dee Dee is about 6 years old. We've had her for a little over a year, I think. She's been there for as long as I have been. And she was surrendered because her owner was going into assisted living or a nursing home. I can't remember. Or maybe those are one and the same. I, Unfortunately, I don't know, but if I live to be old enough, I'll probably figure it out. Isn't that right, Dee Dee?
Yes.
And Dee Dee is wonderful. She's been, when it got really cold, we had some dogs that were kind of living outside and we had shelter for them. But when it got so cold, we brought them in. And
Hmm.
Dee Dee, being a medium sized dog, we brought her into the lobby with us and put a bigger dog in her big kennel. So she's been inside with us in the lobby for a couple of weeks and she's wonderful. She doesn't bark at anybody coming in, which is great because we have a lot of people visiting. And sometimes it's a little hard to talk over the dogs when they want to talk too. So she's housebroken. She does well on a leash. She rides well in the car. She just jumped
Hmm.
in and laid down in the back of my RAV, like, okay, where are we going?
Yeah, she
Road
knew
trip.
she knew what to do. And we have a special chair next to us for Dee Dee to get in, but she's so well behaved that we suspect she probably was not allowed on
Furniture.
furniture.
Right.
Before she came to the shelter, she was very hesitant to get up in it. So she is just hanging out on the ground and she's had treats and
Yeah,
pets and
I even tried to put treats up there and entice her to get up, but nope. If she couldn't get the treats by just stretching her neck, she wasn't going to have any of it.
yeah, she is such a good girl. So she is at the Doggy House Lawrenceburg Animal Shelter. She's being taken very good care of, but she's looking for a forever family. And so that's what she's really hoping for.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. Now, she loves all people, but she's a little dog selective.
Okay.
So if you have another dog, it would be wise to bring them up to let them meet Dee Dee or meet in a neutral area. We can always meet, take Dee Dee someplace for them to meet. Whatever we need to do to find Dee Dee or the other dogs at the shelter a home, we are willing to do it.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, yeah. So she wants to pick her friends.
He wants to pick her friend.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's understandable, Dee Dee.
She's like to pick mine too. There have been some people who wanted to be my friend that,
Well, let's real quick thank our sponsors for this segment. So we have four amazing sponsors: Tiffany Cope with Crylike Realtors, Jason Fort with Lawrenceburg Eye Care, Hearing Services of Middle Tennessee, and Story and Lee Furniture. And we are so grateful for every single one of them. And of course, our friends here at WLX and WDXE, because without them, we would not be here tonight.
exactly, we would not. And I will say, um, Rosalind, that because of the exposure that we've gotten on the radio stations and on the website, Facebook, all that stuff, and just some of the other things that we're doing, we were able to adopt out 37 dogs in the fourth quarter of 2024. And that's just amazing.
Whoa, that is really amazing. And you told me the other day how many got adopted last year total?
Last year total was 109.
Wow, and then 37 in the last
Right.
quarter.
Yeah, we were really pushing it. I know we were on the radio, on the website here, and yeah, it's just been great.
Yeah.
I don't think we could have done it without the partnership that we have with WLX.
Yes, and we're so thankful. Every time a post shares, a video shares, that's just more people that are exposed to the doggy house and all the cute dogs like Dee Dee who live over there. So speaking of the fourth quarter, we had a campaign that was home for the holidays.
Yes,
Can you give us a quick recap of what that was and how successful it was?
it was very successful. I think that was probably led to some of the adoptions that we did have.
Hmm.
We had 20 dogs um, in foster homes between, I think it was the first part of November
Hmm.
until mid January. And four of those dogs have been adopted.
Oh, wonderful.
Several other dogs are waiting to be able to be adopted because they are some of the cruelty cases. So, in the cruelty cases, we are able to put them in a foster home,
Okay.
which is great because some of those dogs need extra attention, extra care, extra food. Um, or like our vet likes to says, that dog needs some groceries.
I bet you found people to give him those groceries over the holidays.
Yes, we have. And then four of the dogs that were being fostered, four puppies that came in, went to transport this morning with Casa Transport.
Oh,
And so
wonderful.
we partnered with them. They were on the show with us last, was it November or December? Anyway,
The
last
book
year
signing.
with the
Hmm.
book signing and stuff. And I think the book signing was successful, but our partnership with them so far in January, and I guess I could say probably for the month of January, since we're almost through, we have taken 13 of our dogs over there to be transported up to the Northeast and Midwest. So,
Yes, and so CASA helps connect dogs with groups up there who can help find them homes in different parts of the country. Is that correct?
correct, right. In some parts of the country, oddly enough, they don't have the stray dogs like we have down here.
Hmm.
Um, like well, Memphis has a lot of stray dogs, but I came from Memphis, but there are a lot of fences and a lot of more urban instead of rural
Hmm.
kind of living. And they also spay and neuter their pets.
And so it's easier sometimes to
Right.
find a family to take them there because maybe there aren't as many
Exactly.
living
They're
in the
not that
shelters.
right. There are not that many. They're not as overwhelmed up there as we are in the South with the overpopulation and the not spaying and neutering. So, as I always say, spay and neuter your pets and your weird relatives. So,
And so you had four puppies go to CASA this
yes,
morning.
this morning I had them over there at 8:30, bright and early, and they were roly poly. They were
Aw,
so cute. It was Fred and Ethel, Sonny and Cher.
what what a team. That sounds like so much fun. So you had 20 fosters,
Right,
four of those were adoptions,
right.
and you had transports during that time too, which is
Exactly.
amazing.
Exactly. So, and we have at least two or three of the fosters that are just waiting for those cruelty cases to be decided, and then they're going to want to adopt.
Okay, that's awesome. That's what a great update. And I'll just pause here and say that Dee Dee is looking up at me with her best puppy dog eyes right now. She is so cute. She loves pets. If anybody's interested in her, please call the shelter. What's the number for the shelter, by the way?
They can call my cell phone. It's 244-0265.
Okay.
That's 244-0265.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about our next campaign, which we're calling Show Your Love because of
Yes,
Valentine's
because
Day.
of Valentine's Day in March. In February. Why am I saying March?
Yes, but
Well,
we're going to do
it
it.
can be Valentine's Day whenever you want.
That's right. But we're going to run this through February and March.
Correct.
And so our goal is to find more families to adopt or foster,
Foster, yes.
whatever the options are. Tell us about some of the dogs that are at the shelter who would be great to be adopted or fostered right now.
There are so many of them. We have this beautiful dog that came in, and she's in the lobby, so that's why she comes to mind. First, her name is Bella, and she's kind of colored like a red Doberman, and she's got these beautiful light brown eyes.
I met her the other day.
Yeah, yeah,
Very sweet.
she is adorable. We have Shannon, who is appears to be a full-blooded German Shepherd. We have Heidi, who is also a German Shepherd. She may have some mix in with her, and both of those are young. I think Shannon is probably about 6 months. Heidi is probably maybe close to a year now. We have Duke that came in on a hoarding case that we got back in July, and he is adorable. He is looks to be maybe a husky mix or something. And then let's see, we have, oh my gosh, there's so many. We have Cash, and I love Cash. And I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but the playgrounds, the new play yards are under construction,
Mhm.
and we have some of the areas that have the fencing up and gates. And I had Cash out there yesterday, and he was just rolling around on his back and just smiling. And he's be a healer mix. He's got this little nub of a tail, and it was just going as fast as it possibly could. He was so cute, and he smiles.
Oh,
So let's see, who else do we have? We have Dot, who also came in the hoarding case with Duke.
she's
And
beautiful. She's a border. No.
she kind of looks like a Brittany Spaniel to
Yes.
me.
Yes, she
That's how
does.
she's colored. I don't know if that's what she is or not,
Hmm.
but she's colored kind of like a Brittany Spaniel. She weighs about 40, 45 pounds. She's just as sweet as she can be. She's a little shy. So are you going to get in the chair?
Dee Dee's thinking about getting in the
She's
chair.
thinking about it because there's a treat right there.
Yeah.
Dot's a little shy. And so it's going to take somebody that has some patience with her,
Hmm.
but she is so trainable.
Yes.
I did this kind of spoof TikTok video of her with, if you're on TikTok and you see the military working dogs, they do all this, all their maneuvers and all their big moves, to the sound of silence.
Mm.
And so Dot and I did a little sound of silence spoof, and
Very nice.
it was so funny. But that's the shelter dog version. But she didn't do bad, for a shelter dog with almost zero training. So
Yes, and a lot of these dogs just need somebody to take the time to
yes,
work with them, help them, and they're very trainable and very smart. And, on that note, um, maybe you are in a position where you're saying, I don't want to adopt right now. I'm not going to foster right now. Maybe you want to do something else. Well, volunteering is
yes,
always a good option. So, um, there's a lot of things that volunteers can do to help the dogs. And I was just thinking that you can get out there and help a dog learn to walk on a leash, learn some basic skills. That'll help them be
exactly.
more adoptable
Right.
in the future. What else do you need volunteers for?
We need volunteers. Well, what we mostly need volunteers for is to interact with the dogs.
Okay.
Whether it's walking with them, teaching them to walk on a leash. We have a dog now that will not walk on a leash, and he was on a here with a we have him on a cruelty case, and he was just released to us. He was just surrendered to us, and he is so cute. But we can't even show him to anybody because we can't get him out of the kennel
Yeah.
on a leash.
Yeah. And you think of somebody wanting to take him home.
You
They
have
go,
to put a leash on him.
yes.
So he's so good about other things. I mean, he will just follow us out, and he'll follow us all around the campus out there and go to the bathroom and all that good stuff. And then will just go back in and go back in his kennel. But putting a leash on him, it's an issue. So if there's a trainer out there that would love to come out and teach Diesel to even wear a leash, that would
Diesel,
be
that's the
great.
perfect name for a dog that won't walk on a leash, right?
Exactly. Yeah, diesel or full throttle, one or the other, because he likes to go. So if you have any experience in training a dog, we would love to have you come out and help us with that. We also need just dog walkers. Now that the playgrounds or play yards are semi up and we have fencing and gates, we need people just to monitor the dogs that are out there. So, you help us put the dogs, take them out there and bring them back. It's time consuming. I
Mhm.
mean, we were so excited to have the gates up yesterday that, we were calculating if we had dogs in and out, we had them full every hour, that would be at least eight. And then we would have them all in and out. Everybody would get, blah, blah, blah. And then we realized then it was taking us so long to get them just in and out.
Mhm.
So, just somebody to help us do that right now would be great.
Yes.
And then just monitor them. Like today, I put some out and I'm like, we are good. We are so good out here. And the next thing I know, I'm looking, I have an empty spot. And I'm like, well, oh no, oh no. Yeah. Ruger is gone. He's left the building,
Oh boy.
And then I looked, I'm like, oh, Ruger is over here playing with the two other puppies. I realized that I don't know whether one of the puppies decided to go over in the Rugers, but they were over the 6 foot fence. So luckily they were just hopping from one play yard to the next
Next.
and not out.
Yes.
But I will,
Somebody to just keep an eye on the
right,
situation and
exactly. Somebody to keep an eye on them, make sure they have water, because, they're going to dump the buckets for sure.
Mhm.
And right now it's not hot,
Yeah.
obviously. Nope,
But when it is, it can
yeah,
be a big difference. They
yeah.
definitely need water all day.
Right, and then if it's cold out, we need to make sure that it's not frozen. But, on other things, we need people to come in and help us clean. It's not a pretty situation on the whole cleaning business, but, help us clean, help us do the dishes because right now, we have approximately 100 dogs out there, and so if you're thinking they have a food bowl and a water bowl. So, that's 200 bowls.
Yes.
Probably, at least, and we wash the ones that get really dirty
Mhm.
every day,
Okay.
but we try to wash all of them 2 or 3 times a week to make sure, that they're clean and it's sanitary. We don't want
Mhm.
dogs are messy.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are. So we also have laundry. People donate, like these blankets are donated. Well, they're going to have to be washed at some point because, they're going to get dirty. And if
Mhm.
if it was put in a kennel with a puppy, well, I don't call them puppies. I call them poopers. So there's that's what's going to happen to that. I
Uh-oh.
think I lost part of my mic.
I think the bottom of her mic fell off. I don't know. Can we just plug it right back in?
All right. I don't even know that is it working anyways? I'm guessing.
Okay, well, we'll keep going. Let us know if we have any issues. And so, yeah, and you guys have a great walking trail
We
for
do.
walking
Yes.
dogs.
Yep.
You can, what I think is great is if you have some time and you want to volunteer, you can come out with a friend. Okay, all good. You can come out with your friend and go for a walk together, take some dogs out, and you can spend as much or as little time as you want at the shelter volunteering, right?
Correct. So if you have, like, you came out after church a couple Sundays ago
Yeah.
and you were out there, probably between after church and going to lunch or something. So
Just probably
maybe,
30 or 40 minutes,
right.
and
And
got a few dogs out and
you and your husband both
mhm,
walk. So it's something that you can do with a, husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, however that works, just a friend.
yeah.
And, you walk 30 or 45 minutes and you've walked 3 or 4 dogs during that time. And it's time that, it's not a whole lot of time for each dog, but it's time enough for them to get out, go to the bathroom, get a little bit of exercise, and
Yes.
then you get some exercise too.
Yeah, and they're just like our dogs. I mean, they wanna get outside and play, and when we brought them out, I mean, they just bounced around and
Yeah.
were so happy, just like when we take our own dogs outside. Well, they love it. They don't wanna be cooped up,
Yeah.
inside all day, and so, yeah, you can bring a friend, you can walk several dogs,
Come by yourself.
yeah, you can come by yourself, it doesn't matter, if that's something that you wanna do, again, uh, contact Ginger at the shelter. You can also contact Folka on our website, folkatn.org. You can send us a note there or, reach out to the Doggy House Lawrenceburg Animal Shelter or Folka on Facebook and send us a message, and we can help get you set up to be a volunteer that way, so, how old does somebody need to be to volunteer at the shelter?
They need to be 18,
Okay.
to volunteer on their own, 14 with a parent or guardian.
Okay. All right, great. So, um, those are the guidelines, but beyond that, Ginger would just love anybody's help.
Exactly. And I know that there are a lot of teenagers out there that not need to make do their community hours for the Tennessee. Oh gosh, what is it?
Tennessee Promise
Yes, Tennessee
scholarships.
Promise Scholarship. So
Yes.
we are open. If you are looking for those hours to fulfill, we are at the shelter. Any We're at the shelter Monday through Sunday from 9 until at least 3:30. So um, we're there every day because we have to feed them and we have to clean up after them, don't we, Dee Dee? Yes.
Dee's like, yep, yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody's got to be with me every day.
She's saying, "What happened to those treats?" I'll look for them.
Since we're talking about the shelter, I guess quickly, what are some items that you need donated most?
Some of the things that people don't think about are just regular. We need, copy paper. We need toilet paper. We need
Okay.
paper towels. We need those kitchen gloves. I love to wear those because
Mhm.
um, they're inexpensive and I can just wash the gloves, and just
Yes.
wear them. We also need kind of like I'm going to call them surgical gloves or the
Mhm.
gloves that doctors wear.
Yeah.
We need those in size medium and large. Same things with I'm going to call them the Playtex kitchen gloves because
Okay.
that's the only brand that pops into my mind. But we'll
Hmm.
take any that are there. Cleaning products,
Okay.
bleach, Dawn dish detergent. We also need laundry detergent. Yeah,
Okay.
because we do a lot of laundry, and that's something that's people can volunteer to help us do. Is just come out and fold blankets and towels because I can't get Dee Dee to do it. I've tried.
Dee Dee's not doing it. She
No, she's not doing
says
it.
no. She's a dog of leisure.
Exactly. Oh, and you should see. Yeah, she is a dog of leisure for sure.
So, our Show Your Love campaign is February through March. Please, if you're interested, contact us about adopting or fostering or volunteering. And right kind of smack dab in the middle of that is our very first adoption event of the year.
It is. Dee Dee's watching herself on the screen. That's adorable. What do you see, Dee Dee?
She's a star.
That's so cute.
If you're listening on the radio, we're on Facebook Live as well. And so the video is up, and Dee Dee, our sweet little doggie who's here with us, is looking at herself on the video screen. It's
Yes.
really cute. She's like, "Who is that?"
She's like, "Who is this?"
She said, "Who is that? She's beautiful."
So, let me go back to Valentine's.
Okay.
So, people who are out there, that may or may not have their special Valentine for Valentine's Day, come foster one of our dogs for the weekend. You can take them out, have a great time, maybe adopt them because you know what? You're not going to find any more love than that. And they are loyal to the end. I'm not, I'm not dissing, relationships or anything, but my dogs have been through thick and thin with me, let me tell you. And they are still there and they still love me. So, or anyway, they act like they love me.
Yes.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, don't think that you have to spend your Valentine's Day by yourself. You can come out and volunteer with us or foster a dog for the weekend. And
Yes.
I interrupted as we were going to the adoption event.
Yeah, and you can contact the shelter anytime to adopt. But we
Right.
do like to have dedicated adoption days to just let everybody know that this is a special day where if you're interested, if you've been thinking about it, you can come out, you can meet different dogs. It's casual, it's fun. And the very first one is on February 22nd. That's a Saturday. It'll be from 9:30 in the morning till 12:30, and it's going to be at the shelter.
It is at the shelter. We're also hoping to have all the new play yards completed. And even if they're not completed, we are still going to show what we have off, at least phase one.
Yeah.
And so you can come and see the dogs playing. I know a lot of people who are listening or viewing have probably donated, you
Yes.
know.
I was going to
So,
say, if you're curious about how the play yards are coming along, whether you just are just interested in the process, or if you have been there donating, or if you came to our Evening with Friends event back in the fall,
Right.
which is where we specifically raise money for these play yards. And the play yards are so that the dogs can spend more time outside during the
Yes.
day and get more sunshine and everything. So if you just want to see how it's going, please come out to the adoption event February 22nd and we can give you a tour. You can meet some dogs and if you want to adopt or you're just thinking about it, I love having adoption events at the shelter. This will be the second one that we've
Right.
had,
Yeah.
and it's great because all of the dogs are there. When we go off site, we take a few dogs with us
Correct.
and
Yeah.
we still hope to find the right match for those dogs. But when we are at the shelter, you can come and we can you can tell us exactly what you're looking for and we can help narrow it down and
Right.
the dogs are right there where you can see them.
Yep, and you get to interact with them there. And now, since we have the play yard, you can get into the play yard with them. We can take them off the leash, and you can really kind of interact and see how they're going to act with you. Because a lot of times at those adoption events, and even sometimes at the shelter, when we are showing a dog to somebody, the dogs are all about us
Mhm.
because they're used to us. They're
Yes.
used to me, they're used to James, they're used to Chloe and Beverly, and they
Yes.
pay attention to us because we're the ones who feed them and give them all the good treats.
And they're in a new if we take them off site, they are in a new environment and sometimes they can be nervous.
Yeah,
And we love those events too, and we have those planned for this year as well. But the ones at the shelter do make it where the dogs that are there, I think, are a little more relaxed because they're on their
yeah,
home base.
yeah. They're on their home base.
Dee Dee.
So yeah, the
She's so
and just
sweet.
come out and see them playing in the play yards. It's I get emotional about things, but like on my probably the first week of last year, I started in April, and I started taking the dogs out in the little areas that we have that are fenced. And I was just looking at the other, the land that was out there, and I was like, we need play yards. So to
Yes.
see yesterday, to actually see part of, I guess my dream,
Mhm.
of seeing the dogs out there playing come to fruition. I just stood there and cried. It's
Yes.
like just to see them get out and run and play. And like I said earlier, and seeing Cash just, on his back rolling around. And then,
Mhm.
well, then Cash being, the debonair man of the building, he's trying to get Winnie to, run and chase him on the fence lines. Because right now we don't know some of the dogs whether they get along well with other dogs. So
Yeah.
putting them in on those play yards next to each other, then you can see, you can tell whether they're going to like each other or not. So
Yes, that's very true. And our hope is that all of the dogs at the shelter will find homes. We don't want
yeah,
them to stay there, but our goal is that, and your goal is that while they're there, that
right.
they're living a good life.
Exactly. That we are doing our very best to enrich their lives
Hmm.
while they are with us.
Yeah, and I remember when you first came to be at the shelter and you said that your goal was for the dogs' lives to be better because they came
Because
and were
exactly.
with you.
Yes.
And I know we are trying so hard to make that happen. And I want to say a special thank you to everybody who donated
Yeah.
toward the play yards. This was a big project but it's gonna change these dogs' lives and we want you to come out and see how happy they are out there. So
Yeah, even, even if you just want to drive by. I mean,
yeah.
we're a little off the beaten path to, kind of do a drive by, but, just, drive in and see, because as much as we can, we're going to have the dogs out there
Mhm.
now. Like I said, it is kind of time consuming to get them out there, but, you know, all of us that work at the shelter, the dog's well-being is what is at our heart. That's our goal and what we're passionate about. And so we're going to do our very best to get them out. And that's again why we need volunteers to
Yes.
help us. I didn't, it's kind of like you want something to happen, but then making it, actually being able to do it is a whole nother thing. So it is time consuming, but we're getting them out there.
Yeah.
If my new job title is going to be playground monitor. Or I'm gonna I was thinking, yesterday, I thought, okay, so what if I just bring my laptop and sit at the picnic table? Will the Wi-Fi go all the way out here? Not that I'm on my laptop much or that I sit much.
But if you need it, you could do some office
Exactly.
work
Yeah.
up there. We need to get you a Wi-Fi extender.
Maybe. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, just real quickly, if you're joining in now and you weren't here at the beginning, I'm Rosalind Osteen Fort from Friends of Lawrence County Animals, and I'm here with Ginger Morgan, who is the director of the Doggie House, Lawrenceburg Animal Shelter, and we have a special guest, Dee Dee. She is one of the doggies that's living at the Doggie House right now. She is super sweet. If you want to see her, you can watch the Facebook Live. But just wanted to let everybody know who we are and what we're talking about. We've been talking about our upcoming adoption event on February 22nd at the shelter, 9:30 in the morning. Dee Dee can see herself on the live stream, and she likes what she sees, I think.
She does.
Yeah,
Looking.
you are looking good.
And Dee Dee is just in case anybody just tuned in, she's a 6-year-old female. She's about 45 pounds. She gets along really well with all people. However, she is selective on her doggy friends.
Mhm.
So if you are interested in adopting her, you would need to if you have a dog, to bring your dog out to meet her. But she is housebroken, walks well on a leash, rides really well in the car. I don't know what I keep doing to my microphone, but anyway, um, she's just a good all around dog. And we have so many people that come into the shelter in and out all day long. And right now she's kind of in a big kennel in the shelter, and she doesn't even bark at anybody.
Yeah, she hasn't made a peep
No.
since she's been in here. She's been so quiet and she's just sitting here right next to us, just wanting love
Yeah.
and attention. She would be a great companion for somebody.
Yes.
So yes, if you're interested in meeting Dee Dee, you can call the shelter. What's the number for the shelter, Ginger?
They can call me 244-0265. That's 244-0265.
Awesome. And you can adopt, so you can call if you want to adopt anytime, but if you'd love to come to our adoption event, we're trying to show our love and around
Exactly. Yeah.
Valentine's Day. So with adoptions, fostering, volunteering, any of that, you can give us a call or send us
You
a
can,
message on Facebook.
yep. Or you can drop by the shelter. We are there typically. We're cleaning in the morning, so if you can come sometime between like 10 and 2, or call me at 244-0265 and set up an appointment, then that's great as well. If those times don't work for you, I can stay later or you can come earlier, whatever works. Like I said earlier, I'm prepared to do anything I can to get the dogs adopted.
Yes. Well, we love that. We wanted to talk just with the time that we have left. If you're thinking of adopting, bringing a new dog into your home, maybe you're thinking, I'm going to be at the shelter on February 22nd and I'd like to bring a new dog into my family. Just some things to think about to prepare because, I think that the more you can be prepared, the better it's going to go.
Correct.
The thing I thought of first is maybe this is a little different than you would think of, but to make sure that everybody in the home is on board
Yes.
with getting a new pet.
Yes. There are many times where one person is all about the new pet and the other person has no idea.
Yes.
So,
Or they
yeah.
think they're going to surprise
Yeah.
family member. And
No, and don't ever get a dog or puppy or kitten, cat, whatever, horse, whatever and pet that it might be, as a gift for somebody who is not requested that,
yes,
because a dog is a 15-year commitment or plus. I have a dog now that's 18, so
amazing.
I know she's amazing, and she still has an attitude, but it's a commitment. It's an emotional commitment, a time commitment, and a financial commitment. as well. And I don't think when you're giving somebody a gift that a lot of people think about the finances that go into that. It's the
Mhm.
food and the health care and all that good stuff.
Yes, and the time commitment, and
Yeah.
you just wanna be sure that everybody who's gonna be involved is on board and happy and excited about it, so, and we hope that you are, but, that's just something to think about
Yeah.
first. No surprises for
Yeah.
anybody.
My brother just got a black lab puppy, and his wife was quite surprised about that. Yes,
Yeah.
she's getting on board, but it had been a little bit of a struggle with
Yeah,
her and the puppy.
it's
But
a little easier if it's, if everybody's in on it
yeah.
at the beginning. Well, and so also, speaking of other members of the family, if you have other pets or you have children, what are some things to think about before you adopt?
If let's go with you have children.
Okay.
It's the age of the children and the age of the. We're gonna let's talk about dogs because that's what we do at the
Yes.
doggy house.
Yes.
And the age of the dog. So some people say, "Well, I want to get a puppy to grow up with my baby,"
Mhm.
and that's okay as long as the puppy and the baby aren't really playing together. If it's a baby, because puppies are rambunctious
Mhm.
and they jump and they can knock babies down and they can scratch and do all things. Puppies are, I love puppies.
Mhm.
I love babies.
Yes. Yes.
But puppies are kind of my thing, but they are the most obnoxious little things that can, that have ever, well, except for a kitten, that have ever been born, I think, because they're needy and they're jumping until you learn them, until you teach them and they learn, correct behaviors.
Mhm.
So if you were looking for a puppy, I think I would match that with maybe if you had a child that was 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
Before that, if the dog is going to be a little bit older, but let's say like Dee Dee here,
Mhm.
who is 6. She's calm. She's laying down here, still looking at herself on the Facebook live stream thing, but she's a little conceited, I think, because she likes what she sees.
Okay.
But she's very calm. I think she would do fine with a baby.
Yes.
But the other thing is you also need to make sure when the baby's crawling that it's not getting into your dog's food.
Food. Yes.
And you don't allow it to hug the dog if the dog doesn't look like it wants to be hugged. I mean, there are so many things you see on TV in the news where the dog bit the baby, and then it's all the dog's fault. And maybe I'm not saying that it's not, but there was a person that let the dog and the baby together. So I would just be really cautious about that. And years ago, I had somebody call me and ask me if I could train their baby to be good with a dog. So I was like, um, I don't train babies, but it was the funniest thing. But
That is funny.
and then if it's you're going to introduce your dog to if you're going to bring in another dog into the household,
Yeah.
you want to kind of match those personalities.
Okay.
And you also, if the dog that you have is real dominant, then you definitely don't want to get another dog that's dominant because you're going to have issues. You want to get one that's a little bit submissive. Not that's going to get, not that the dominant dog is going to beat up on it, but it needs to.
There might be a clash.
Right. You
Mhm.
just need to make sure that's going to mesh. And one of the things about the play yards is, you could bring your dog out. You can put one in one play yard and the dog that you're thinking about adopting in the other one and see how they interact just through that fence and
Yes.
see, like earlier, I didn't know that, Crash was really going to take to Winnie, but the two of them were running up and down, back and forth. And they're both a little bit older. It was really cute to see their tails wag. And speaking of tails wagging, when dogs wag their tails, it says many things. And people think, oh well, the dog's tail was wagging, but you really have to look at it. How was it wagging? Was it
Yes.
a really wide spread back and forth, which means it's pretty friendly? But was it a really fast, like really quick, not
Yes.
real wide? And that's more of a anxious, nervous kind of a tail wag. And so you want to be real
Yes.
careful about that and their body languages when they meet.
Yeah.
Now, when you get one home, you might not want to just throw them together right, immediately. You might want to separate them with some baby gates and see how that's working. Make sure you feed them separately. If the dog that's been in your home for so long has a favorite toy, it might not like it if the new dog grabs the toy.
Yes.
Um, my dogs really don't have favorite toys, but they don't like it if another dog has a toy. Does it could be any toy, but mine Kelly, she's going to go up and try to take it away, and
Yeah.
her brother Smiley will let her do that. Her brother Grayson is like, it's not going to happen, and he weighs twice as much as she does. So
Yeah. Well, and so we think a new dog, oh, great. Our other dog will have a playmate. We think all these positive things, but they may be thinking, why did mommy bring this other dog into the house? I thought I was the baby. And so just going about it the right way can help it
right,
be a
right.
smooth transition, and they will probably end up being best of friends.
Right, and sometimes you might be able to open the back door and let them both out, and they're gonna immediately play,
Yes.
but, there's just some precautions need to happen in
Yeah.
the beginning.
Better to be cautious and
Right.
then just figure out what's going to work best. I guess, quickly, these are a lot of these, most people know, but supplies that you need. Um, Big one is a collar with an ID tag.
Yes, I cannot well, every dog that we get, almost except 1, I think, and we have taken in I don't even know how many dogs we've taken in since I've been there, but, basically, they come to us right now, mostly from the sheriff's department or the police department, sometimes from the public, but the dogs don't have collars. There's only one that's had a collar on him,
Hmm.
and bless his heart, he likes it at the shelter. He just keeps coming back. I think that they've finally rectified that, and Bear has gone to live with Grandma.
So if they had an ID
Indeed.
tag, you could get them back to their mom or dad
Yes.
so much faster. And the ID tags are really cheap. I mean, you can get them at Tractor Supply,
Yeah.
Walmart. We were told the other
Oh,
day.
yeah. You can get them at Walmart.
Walmart.
Up by the games, the kids' games or something,
Yes.
Walmart,
Yeah.
Tractor Supply.
Hmm.
Um,
You
you
can
know,
order them online.
you can order them online, or you can get a Sharpie, and that's how Bear's name and phone number was on. It was somebody wrote it on his collar.
Hey, that works. If that is what you got,
If that's what you have,
then that works.
yeah, it was get a light colored collar and black Sharpie and just put your dog's name and your phone number on there, and that works.
Yeah.
A lot of people say they don't like the tags, ringing on the collars, but and just put the rabies tag on there.
Hmm.
It is all dogs have to have their rabies shots. There's a place to wear their tags.
Hmm.
So the rabies tag, we can trace that back to the vet clinic, to the owner, and get them home that way. I had somebody call me recently in Summertown and said, "Hey, I found a dog. I've got a rabies tag." I said, "Send me a picture."
Hmm.
And literally within 5 minutes, I called the guy back and said, "Hey, this is the owner, blah, blah, blah." Actually, I sent him a text message. So he said, "Great."
Yeah.
It was
Easy.
that easy to do that. So ID tags will get your dogs back to you faster than anything. As a matter of
Yes.
fact, they don't even have to make it to us because the person finding them can call you.
Yeah. They can just bypass
But
the shelter,
yes,
which is really ideal.
right. You can put, on most ID tags, you can print on both sides. You can put your address on one side
Hmm.
and then your phone number on another. Now, one of the things that I also like to tell people to do is to have two phone numbers.
Hmm.
One for somebody that's in the family, and then the other one for a friend. Let's say you and your husband are in the car together and you have your dogs
Hmm.
with you and you have an accident
Hmm.
and you all, get out of the car, the dogs jump out and they're gone.
Yes.
Or you both have to go to the hospital, God forbid. Something happens, you need a second phone number on there so that they can call that person. A friend of mine had taken his dog up to Connecticut and he didn't realize it. He was staying at a friend's house. He let his dog out. Well, there had been a big storm the night before. The gate blew open. Well, I got a phone call that this rescue group had the dog. And the story was that the dog followed the children into the library because it had one of those sensor doors, where all you had to do was get so close to it, then the doors would open.
Yeah.
And then Hudson just walked into the library. And
Oh,
they
wow.
thought, well, I think it's kind of probably scared a few people with this big Great Pyrenees just walking in. He's what he wanted to read too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
But he had that tag. They couldn't get a hold of his dad. So my number was second and they called me.
yeah. Hey, that worked out. That's a good suggestion. I think a lot of people wouldn't have thought of putting a
Yeah,
different phone number on there. Great. Okay, other things, a leash, bed,
yeah,
kennels. And if you're gonna get toys for your dogs, you want things that are durable, things that they
right.
cannot tear apart and choke on or swallow. There's just horror stories of things that could
Yes,
happen. We just want to avoid those things. A great one that you love and I love is Benebone.
yes,
And a quick shout out to them. They are so kind. They have just donated a box of Benebones to the shelter dogs here.
yes,
We just love dogs so much, and but they're a good. You wanted Benebones because
right. They're
why did you?
durable.
Yes.
They're not like a rawhide that gets soft and the dogs can swallow.
Hmm.
And it's going to take them. I think one of our dogs has actually gotten one of the Benabones to where it's only like this.
Wow.
So that we have to take that away from her.
Yeah.
But that
It takes a
she's a
long
chewer.
time to get to
She
that
is a
point.
chewer. Yeah, my dog has a Benabone, and she's barely made any progress on it. And she's had it for a couple of years, and she
Yeah.
chews on it all the time.
Yeah.
So that's the other reason why I wanted them for the shelter is we have so many dogs, and we need things that are going to last.
Yes, and
Um,
you like Benebones and Kongs,
Longs, yes, I
which are
love
made of
Kongs.
rubber, and
Yes.
so it's really hard for a dog to tear that up. Not saying it's impossible, but
Yeah, we were, Kongs have the black ones and the
yes,
red ones, and the black ones are the tough ones.
yeah,
And those are what we really need at the shelter. If you wanted to donate Kongs to us, the black ones are great.
okay.
We gave one to one of the dogs, a red one, a big one. We put some peanut butter in it.
Mhm.
And she just bit the top like right off of it. It might have been the same dog that has eaten the peanut bun,
It's a
but
serious chewer.
she is a serious chewer.
Uh, yeah, so, just when you're picking out toys, you're bringing home a dog, just think about it. You don't want them to choke on anything, and then also, we've just got a few minutes left, but thinking about making your home safe, um, having, if you have a puppy that's a chewer, thinking about where your cords are, if they can be accessed easily.
Yes.
Maybe if you need baby gates or areas in the home that are off limits, maybe until they're safe for the dog, or if it's just you teach your dog to stay in a certain area. One thing I was thinking about is especially when you're adopting from the
Hmm.
shelter, and especially an older dog. Um, I think a lot of people might think, this dog is older and maybe very calm, like Dee Dee. She doesn't need a kennel. But
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Hmm.
I think there might be really good reasons to do a crate training or kennel training for at least for a while because when you take Dee Dee home, you love her and you're crazy about her, but to her, you're a stranger.
Right.
And so even if she is calm and you think she won't chew anything, she won't do anything, she won't tear the couch apart, when you come home with groceries and you open that door, she can bolt out.
Right.
And that's really scary because she doesn't know where home is and you don't know where
Exactly.
to find
Right.
her. And so, what do you think about at least maybe, kennel training for a while?
I used to be totally against kennel training
Hmm.
until my puppy became really well read by eating all of my books. And I think I was just telling you that, I left my dog, who was 6 or 7 years old now, out when I kind of came home for lunch today. And I thought, he doesn't have to be in his kennel.
Hmm.
It was a wreck. My house was a wreck when I came home. He had gotten into the greenies. He had to crawl up on something for that. he knocked over my coffee cup that had leftover coffee from this morning onto my laptop, which was also on the floor. It was crazy. Put your dog in a kennel,
Yeah.
unless it's kind of like I have a three-legged Pyrenees. He's not jumping up on anything
Mhm.
because he could, but he just doesn't.
Yeah.
So, he's the good dog.
At some point, you may be able to
Right,
leave them out of the kennel, but it really can help, especially when the shelter dogs are nervous about being in a
right.
new place. And
And they're used to being in a kennel.
yes, that's true.
So you don't really have to kennel train them. They're used to it.
And they may actually feel safe
Right.
in a
A
kennel.
lot of dogs feel safe in their kennels. I
Yes.
leave but the doors to my kennels open,
Mhm.
and my dogs will go in there. And it's so funny because sometimes they'll try to get in each other's, and they don't like it. They have their own. I call them their rooms. So
Yes. Well, we are running out of time. But just a few other things to think about before you bring a dog home. What's your routine going to be? Uh, I heard somebody say maybe you should try to adopt right before a weekend so you can have the whole weekend with
yeah,
your dog. What's the
especially a
routine?
special holiday weekend.
Holiday
So you have
weekend?
a 3-day weekend. So we have President's Day coming up.
Yes, in
So that
February.
would be yes, so that would be, and that is the weekend of Valentine's. So there you go. I have
Double.
put all that in there.
We've come
You
full
know,
circle
the
here.
full circle back to getting a
Yes.
dog for Valentine's.
Yeah, and you want to have the proper medical care and heartworm prevention and
Yes.
vaccinations and socializing your dog. Just thinking about those things. So, we just want to say another thank you to our sponsors for allowing us to be here tonight. Thank you, Ginger, for talking with us.
Um,
Thank you, Dee Dee. You look lovely. She's just laying on the ground here. And a quick shout out, or more of a plug, actually. We are starting $5 Friday
yes.
$5 Fridays on Facebook. We're just asking for a $5 donation on a Friday. We purchased some Bones for the dogs at
Yeah.
the shelter with some donations from our first $5 Friday. So follow the Doggy House Lawrenceburg Animal Shelter on Facebook. Follow Folka on Facebook. You'll see those $5 Friday posts and you'll see all kinds of other stuff going on with us. And
One of the other ways I didn't think about it when you were talking about volunteering is just share our post. Share
yes.
the Doggy House Lawrenceburg Animal Shelter, share our post, share Folka's post. I think it's under Friends of Lawrence County Animals on
Hmm.
Facebook. Because your friends might be interested in getting a dog or donating the $5 Friday or
Yes.
just coming out to the shelter and watching the dogs play or, whatever they may, you never know who that's going to touch.
Yes.
I fostered some puppies one time because a friend of mine shared a friend of hers Facebook post that shared somebody else's Facebook post that said these 4.5 week old puppies needed a foster. And I
Made
can.
it all the way to you.
And it made it all the way to me. And it was 2020 and I didn't have anything else to do. So there you go.
Share it, yes, share, it makes a big
It
difference,
does.
and, thank you to WLX for sharing our posts so often, it just really changes things for us,
Yeah,
so,
it sure does.
with that, we will say good night.
All right. See you soon.
Dee Dee says
Oh,
goodbye.
and Dee Dee's asleep. She said, "Don't wake me up."
Her eyes are wide open. She's looking around.